Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Those are the two names that you hear in the news regarding the 2024 election. Maybe you hear a little bit about Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Jill Stein, and Cornel West, but in reality, there are dozens of candidates beyond that realm. In 2020, all of these names were on ballots in the United States, but as you can see here, they are not major candidates. They don't really have any viable path to victory. That being said, as voters, as inclined citizens, you deserve to know all of your choices. So here are all of the 2024 presidential candidates across the nation. So first off, we have President Joe Biden of the Democratic Party. He was elected in 2020. Of course, he is running for re-election as of right now at the time of making this video. His priorities are racial equality, economic equality, healthcare access for all Americans, and stopping climate change. Of course, when it comes to ballot access, he and the Democratic Party is on the ballot in all 50 states, meaning he has access to winning all 538 electors. However, please note that at the time of making this video, July 6, 2024, Joe Biden is only the presumptive Democratic nominee of the Democratic Party. He has not officially been nominated at the convention, and there has been talk of replacing Biden at the convention. That being said, anyone who is nominated will have ballot access in all 50 states. Next up, of course, we have former President Donald Trump. He served from 2016 to 2020. He is the candidate of the Republican Party. His priorities are pulling back on defense commitments, on U.S. Defense commitments to other nations such as Ukraine, securing the southern border with Mexico, cheaper healthcare, and a crackdown on crime in the United States. He is on the ballot in all 50 states. He also is only the presumptive nominee of the Republican Party. However, there has not been talk of replacing him as the nominee, unlike for Joe Biden. But he has access to all 538 electors. Next up, we have the candidate of the Libertarian Party, Chase Oliver. His background is being the 2022 Libertarian nominee for the Senate in Georgia. His priorities are protection of freedoms, justice reform, ending the drug war, and immigration reform. He is currently all of this ballot access stuff might change now for the remaining candidates, but he is currently on the ballot in the majority of states, giving him access to 342 of the 538 members of the Electoral College. You need 270 to win, so Chase Oliver can win the presidency. Please note that the Libertarian Party also has ballot access in the states of Montana and Colorado. However, they have both rejected Chase Oliver as their nominee for not being libertarian enough. Colorado, in fact, nominated Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to be their nominee. The campaign also claims that they have enough signatures to appear on the ballot in 2 more states, which would give access to 36 more electors. Next up, we have Jill Stein from the Green Party, who was the 2012 and 2016 presidential candidate of the Green Party. She is very progressive. Her priorities are a ceasefire in Gaza, environmental protection, economy for working people, and a $25 minimum wage nationwide. She and the Green Party is currently on the ballot in 279, in a handful of states, which gives her access to 279 of the 538 electors. Remember, you need 270 to win, so Jill Stein can win the presidency. The campaign also claims to be eligible for the ballot in 4 more states, giving her 45 more electors. And then we have environmental lawyer Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He is an independent candidate, not nominated by any party. His priorities are ending the forever wars, ending the merger of state and corporate power in government, immigration reform, and ending chronic disease epidemics in America. He has ballot access he is only confirmed to be on the ballot in a few states, giving him access to 167 of the 538 electors. However, he claims to be on the ballot in 13 more states, which would give him access to 167 more electors, which would give him access to 270 electoral votes and therefore the presidency. Please note that on some ballots, Kennedy is not listed as an independent, but as the candidate of the We the People Party, Natural Law Party, Reform Party, American Independent Party, Independent Party of Delaware, Alliance Party, and Libertarian parties. Next up, we have Randall Terry, who is a pro-life activist. He is the nominee of the Constitution Party. His priorities are banning abortion nationwide, defending liberties, and following the U.S. Constitution. He is currently on the ballot in only a few states, giving him access to 98 of the 538 electors. He cannot win the presidency. As of right now, the campaign claims to be eligible for the ballot in 3 more states, which would be 38 more electors. Next up, we have academic and activist Cornel West. He is an independent. He formerly ran for the Green Party nomination, and even before that, the We the People Party nomination. He is an independent, and his priorities are social justice, racial justice, economic justice, and immigration justice. All justices. He is only on the ballot in a few states, with only 42 electors accessible. The campaign claims to be eligible for the ballot in 2 more states, which would be 31 more electors. And please note that on some ballots, Cornel West is listed not as an independent, but as a candidate of the Aurora Party, Oregon Progressive Party, United Citizens Party, Unity Party, and Green Mountain Peace and Justice Party. Next up, we have academic and activist Claudia de la Cruz. She is the nominee of the Party for Socialism and Liberation. Her priorities are Palestinian freedom, an end to capitalism, racial equality, and a socialist society in the United States. She is currently on the ballot in only 4 states, giving her access to 23 of the 538 electors. However, the campaign claims to be eligible for the ballot in 4 more states, which would be 57 more electors. Please note that on some ballots, don't mind that. And then next up, we have survivalist Joe Skousen. He is the nominee of the Constitution Party of Utah and Nevada. That is a separate party than the Constitution Party of the United States. They have nominated their own separate candidate, Joel Skousen. He is a survivalist, and his priorities are protection of liberties, exposing the deep state, an end to special interest involved in politics, and a break from the 2-party system. He is currently on the ballot in, of course, Nevada and Utah, which are 12 of the 538 electors. And then from the American Solidarity Party, they nominated a local Connecticut politician, Peter Sonski. His priorities are ending abortion nationwide, social justice, community-oriented society, and economic security. He is currently on the ballot in 2 states, Arkansas and Hawaii, which gives him access to 10 electors of the 538. And then next up, we have Blake Huber from the Approval Voting Party. He was a 2020 presidential candidate. He has very few priorities listed on his website, except, of course, approval voting nationwide and an end to gerrymandering. He is currently on the ballot in only Colorado, 10 electors there. Next up, we have businessman Michael Wood from the Prohibition Party. Of course, their priorities are banning the sale of alcohol, supporting small farms, election reform, and economic development. He is currently on the ballot in only Arkansas, giving him access to 6 electors. Next up, we have entrepreneur Shiva Ayyadurai. He is an independent. He doesn't have any priorities on his website except for the fact that he invented email. He hangs very strongly onto that fact. However, he is not credited with that. He is currently only on the ballot in Utah, giving him access to 6 of the 538 electors. Next up, we have Lucifer Justice Case Everylove. He is an independent, and he does not have a website, and his priorities are unknown. However, he is on the ballot in the state of Utah, giving him access to 6 electors. Next up, we have landlord Jasmine Sherman. She has been nominated by the Green Party of Alaska, which is different from the Green Party of the United States, separate party. Her priorities are abolishing the police, death with dignity, drug criminalization, and guaranteed housing. She is currently, of course, on the ballot in only Alaska, giving her access to 3 electors. And then the following are candidates without any ballot access nationwide, but are running semi-serious or serious campaigns. Next up, we have Vermin Supreme, who's running a satire campaign from the Pirate Party. His priorities are a pony for every citizen, a giant toothbrush for every citizen, and then on a more serious note, anarchism. Next up, we have a nonprofit executive, Bill Stein, who has been nominated by the Socialist Party USA. His priorities are an end to war, ultranationalism, a socialist society, and economic democracy. Next up, we have Party Secretary Joseph Kishore of the Socialist Equality Party. His priorities are socialism, equality, peace, and democracy. Next up, we have activist Tom Ross of the Transhumanist Party. His priorities are life extension, secular ideals, science, and technology. Next up, we have perennial candidate Paul Noel Fiorino of the Unity Party. His priorities are national unity and environmental protection. Next up, we have Los Angeles Lakers co-owner Johnny Buss, an independent candidate. His priorities are a brighter economy, racial equality, a healthy climate, and compassionate immigration policy. Next up, we have a rapper named Afro Man. Might have heard of him outside of politics. He is an independent candidate, and his priorities are legalizing marijuana and allowing marijuana companies to use any bank of their choosing. Next up, we have an activist, Tom Hoefling, an independent candidate. His priorities are defending the unborn, preserving marriage, opposing judicial supremacy, and eliminating unconstitutional agencies. Next up, we have a podcaster and author, Taylor Marshall. He's an independent candidate. His priorities are banning abortion nationwide, banning no-fault divorce, banning contraception, and an American Christian culture. Next up, we have musician Chris Novoselic. He's an independent. His priorities are election reform. Then we have an academic, Emmanuel Pastrick. He is an independent, formerly ran for the Green Party nomination. His priorities are connecting Asia and America, not literally, truth, progressivism, and fearing no evil. And finally, we have football coach Robbie Wells. He is an independent, and his priorities are economic prosperity, world peace, a right to health care, and supporting the vulnerable. So that is it. Who will you back in 2024? Those are all of your choices. You have dozens of choices to choose from. So who will be your candidate? Let me know in the comments, and let me know in the comments also, who would you choose without knowing anything about any of the candidates? Who would you choose just based off of their photo here? Let me know. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all in the next video.